So welcome everybody to the first class of this 2-course bundle, Unlock Your Entrepreneurial Potential. And tonight's class is about preparing yourself for business. And hi, Helen, glad you could make it. I was just telling everyone that it's your option whether you want to have your camera on or off. And you can also change your name on the screen if you don't want to, however you want to have your name. This will be recorded, so anyone who's not here tonight live can see it recorded. And I'll be putting it on YouTube, but not for public viewing, only for people who've enrolled in the course. So I'm excited to get ready, to get going. And does anybody have a burning question about any details about how this is going to work, or the content platform, anything like that before we get started with tonight's class? You can just raise your hand if you do. Okay, good. Well, if any questions come up, of course, you can email me. My email address is right there on the screen in my window, Sharon@liberatednurse.com, or you can put your questions in the discussion area of the learning platform also, whichever is easier for you. Okay, so now I'm going to share my screen. And I thought I would be able to see all of you too. Here we go. Okay, good. So this is class 1. You've all enrolled in the bundle of 2 classes and or 2 courses, and each course has the 2 classes. So this is class 1. And if you've been in, I know most of you have been into the learning portal already, and you've been looking around at the content there. Thank you for filling out the pre-learning assessment to let me know where you're coming from, where you're starting from, and what you want to get out of this course. There also, in your welcome letter, you'll see links to get, first of all, your bonus course about taming your inner saboteurs, and then the 3 essential business tools for your focus and your productivity. And so just go through that content at your own pace, of course. And tonight we're going to hit some of the high points of the bonus material and also the modules in this first course. So the learning, this is a CE course, and the learning outcomes that you'll get today are to assess and identify your personal strengths and limitations related to starting a business, and also how to activate your strengths and turn your self-sabotaging thoughts into fuel for professional growth. Then next week in class 2, we're going to look at how much money and time you need to start your business. And we'll be helping you choose a starting price for your program or services, assess your and project your expenses so you can assess your cash runway, look at the best ways for you to generate income while you're getting ready to fully, making the transition from starting your business on the side to going at it full time. There's always a curve there, and we call it the cash runway. And then the outcomes, in order to estimate when your business will support you. Now, I'd like to share here some of the things that you all shared in the pre-learning assessments. And I've highlighted the first 3 with yellow because those 3 relate to what we're going to learn tonight. And actually in course 1, and then in course 2 about finding your niche and getting clients, we'll learn these other bullets. And these were all, you'll probably recognize your own if you've taken the pre-learning assessments. And now you can see some of the goals that some of your classmates also shared. A lot of it, of what's on your mind, I can see it's about attracting clients in an authentic way and having more confidence in yourself and in your ability to do business. So let's get into it. I would love to start with this slide because if you've never been an entrepreneur before, if you have been an entrepreneur, you will recognize yourself in this slide, right? This is really how it goes. And this can all happen in one day where we can feel like, oh, we're totally on top of it. It's working fine, all the way to, oh no, this is terrible. I don't know what to do, or I made a big mistake. And this is hard. This is hard territory for anybody, any entrepreneur, but it's especially hard for nurses because we like to have things set up in a predictable way as much as possible. We like to have our policies and procedures to guide us, and we like to have some other more experienced nurses around us that we can ask questions. And when we're an entrepreneur, this is a big culture shock that we're working on our own so much without policies and procedures to guide us. So I'm going to give you in these next few weeks, I'll be sharing with you some guidelines and some structure that will help you kind of guide you and help to reduce the peaks and valleys, the intensity of the peaks and valleys in this process, but they never totally go away. Okay, I'll just be honest with you about that. Besides having some structure, another thing that can help is to have a peer group. And so feel free to use this course to start a peer group for yourself. You can share your email or your contact info with the students in this group and just put it in the chat if you are open to being contacted and you'd like to have contact with the other students, and then you all can reach out to each other. I highly recommend that. Another way you can have a peer group is to come to the monthly free business coaching groups that I offer, which is the first Tuesday of every month at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Okay, so we're going to start tonight with why do you want to start a business? And this is super important because we can get it's easy to get lost in the details of all the kaleidoscope of things that we're trying to handle. And if we lose sight of our why, we will feel like it's easy to feel lost. Okay. And so I recommend, I'm going to help you with some exercises tonight to look at your why and identify your motivations, write them down, and use them as a compass. Okay. In business, there are so many decision points. And if you have a clear why, when you get to a crossroads where you need to make a decision among different choices, if you come back to your why, your top motivation and what you want to get from this effort, it will help you more often to make the right choice that's in alignment with your goals and your values. So this is also included in the learning portal. There's a PDF called Identify Your Top Motivations and Whys. And I'm curious, who has already looked at this material? Raise your hand. Anybody? Okay, that's fine. So I hope you have either a hard copy paper and pencil or a digital notebook open that you can take some notes, because tonight's going to be all of these classes are going to be very much where you'll be working during the class to start applying what I'm sharing. And So pull out something that you can take notes on and jot down. Don't, there's no need to spend a lot of time with this tonight. Take the first thing that comes to your mind. What thoughts are keeping you up at night? What are you dreaming about, scheming, planning? Okay, jot something down about that. And also what inspires and motivates you towards starting a business. And I'm going to go pretty quickly through these questions. There's a whole series of these. Wave at me if you need me to go back or take longer on each slide. Okay, the next set of questions is, what big problem do you have a solution for? And what results can you help people get? And you don't have to write in full sentences, of course. Just put down keywords, phrases, things like that that you want to capture. Now, thinking back in your life, what was your lowest point or greatest challenge that you've had? And if I'm thinking here about things that relate in some way to why you want to start a business or what kind of a solution you have for others. What kind of change or transformation can you help others move toward? And what was the big turnaround or aha moment for you? And then are you able to see the last bullet on my screen? I have something in the way. You can see it. Okay. How is your life different now that you've made this change that we're talking about? Now, the reason I'm asking you to look at these is many times the clients you serve will be similar to you in some way. They'll be similar to who you were several years ago before you had this breakthrough. I'm watching your faces, so when you're done, look up and I'll know it's time to go on. Okay, great. Okay, now we have 5 of you here, and I'm going to put you in breakout rooms so you can share with each other a little bit about your experience. The reason this is important is because it helps you take it to another level of your awareness. And you also get to hear someone else's response. Of course, only share the parts, if it's very personal, only share the parts that you're comfortable with. You can either share the first 2 bullets, what big problem do you have a solution for, and what results can you help people get? Or you can share what was a big turnaround moment in your life and how is your life different now? Okay. either of those things. Does anybody have any questions before we go to the breakout room? Okay. You'll just have 2 minutes each to do this. And if you are aware of how these questions relate to the business idea you have, go ahead and share that too, okay, with your partners. And there'll be a group of 2 and a group of 3. So yeah, I'll let you know when we're halfway through the time. Okay. So, and you'll need to write down these questions, whichever ones you're going to share, because this window, I think, will go away when you're in the breakout rooms. Okay. Joyce and Taylor, I'm going to give the other group just another half a minute since they had 3 people. How did you enjoy that?
Yes, I thought
Good.
it was extremely helpful. I love breakout groups and I find it very beneficial. And to just say it out loud, it kind of helps talk it through. And yeah,
It does. That was Taylor saying that, right?
yes.
How about you, Joyce? Did you find that interesting?
Sure. Yeah, I didn't say some of the things I could have in response to some of your questions. Like I'm finding myself doing the executive coaching where I work, and I'm like, okay, what am I doing in this nonprofit?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that I'm really that interested in coaching, but anyway, yeah, it was helpful. Thank you, Sharon.
Okay, well, good. I'm going to bring them back now. This is the first time I've done breakout sessions in a Zoom, and I see that when I click close the rooms, it still gave them 60 seconds more. So I didn't know that. Next time I'll know that. They'll,
Oh, good.
we have another minute. All right, everybody's back. Good. So who I talked with Joyce and Taylor because they came back first. And how about Claudine, Helen, and Thomas? How did that go for you? Did you find that interesting?
Yeah, I did it. I love hearing other people's ideas about what they want to do and be in business. I think it's, I think nurses supporting nurses, I've got a really strong feeling about it. And that's actually one of the things that'll be part of my business. So which is a big reason why I took this class. I've been taking other classes, but I need to be with nurses as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, good. Okay. Well, I realized while you were all on the breakout rooms that I totally forgot to give everybody a chance to introduce themselves to each other, like where are they from and what kind of business they're wanting to work toward. And so I hope you did a little of that in the breakout room. But let's just go around in case you didn't. Let's go around and why don't we just put it in the chat? Where are you from and a little bit about your business idea. Who do you want to serve? Okay. And feel free to do that. And I'll move forward because I have a lot of things to share with you tonight. And next time there is going to be another chance to be in a breakout room, so you can also, connect with each other. I just forget about that stuff. Okay. So here's a couple of other questions, the next level of questions on this, sticking with why do you want to start a business? Are you angry at the status quo in some area and want it to change? So the first set of questions, we're looking inside you at your motivations, but there's the whole world outside of us too. So sometimes we're motivated because of a specific area we want to change outside of us. And so what is at stake? And that means what's the cost of taking action and the cost of not taking action. I'm talking about costs for you, your clients, and or society as a whole. And you might want to think about, sometimes it's helpful to think about the sustainable development goals. If you haven't already brought that into your conscious awareness when you're thinking about your business, how does your business idea fit into these goals? Which of the 17 goals would you say your idea fits under? And it might fit under more than one. And by looking at these goals, we can connect our work with the larger work and movements that are going on. It also helps us think about other businesses in our general category. These are like the macro niches that we can think about that businesses and nonprofits and for-profits belong to. And so then these last two questions are coming back to yourself. What do you love most about what you want to do? And what do you want to gain personally for yourself? And be as specific as you can. And here's some ideas of categories again that you might think about in terms of what you want for yourself. And encourage you to pick no more than 3 to focus on, even though you might want all of these things. What would be your top 1 to 3 things that you want for yourself? Because we aren't paid just in money. That's only one of many things that we need to be fulfilled and to be healthy and happy. Okay. Does anybody need me to go back on any of those slides?
Yes, if you could go back to the one you just had.
Sure.
Yeah, that one. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so I am going to put you in breakout groups again. And I feel like 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes would be about right. Again, I'll give the group with 3 people an extra minute. And so we'll let the we'll just keep the same rooms. Okay, here we go. Did it give you an invitation to the rooms? Yeah. All right, welcome back, everybody. I bet you found that interesting. And had you thought before about your anger being part of your motivation for starting a business? It's a powerful one, and it's an important one, because most of us want to be a change agent, I would say. It's the biggest reason I hear that nurses want to go into business, as well as having the flexibility and the freedom and autonomy for themselves. All right, one more question, and then we'll take a little short stretch break. And this question is, what is your definition of success? And I won't be asking you to share this with others. How will you know when you've achieved success in your business? Okay, I'm gonna move on. You can always come back to these prompts later to go deeper if you want to, or to flesh them out with more detail. The reason I started this class and this course with you is because I said it before, it helps you stay on course. We often get a little to feeling lost or overwhelmed in our businesses, especially in the early stages, because there's so much to learn and so much to organize and prioritize. But I found from my own experience and watching others also build their businesses that we need to keep ourselves in mind. And if we build what we're creating with ourselves, thinking of this is not selfish to think of what do we need and to sustain us, to nurture us, so that we feel fulfilled, and so that we just to guide us with our why. That is not selfish. In fact, it seems to be a center, like the hub of the wheel that holds everything else together. For my businesses, my main guiding star or reason has been for freedom to be outdoors a lot, to work a bunch, like go in depth and then have some time off, to be able to be with family members that lived in different states, take my laptop and my computer with me, or to live on my boat, things like that. So you can see how that would be an organizing principle if that was your main motivation, was the freedom. And I'm sure each of you have your main motivation too, that you will organize things around as much as you can and steer for. Okay, so does anyone want to make any comments or have any questions here before we take a break? And just speak up if you do. Okay. Oops. Then we'll take a break. Let's take just a 5-minute stretch break, get water or anything like that you need. And we'll come back and we're going to dive more into your strengths, your limitations, and your saboteurs, your inner saboteurs. These things form a foundation to build our confidence on and to build our competence and our skills on. So let's go ahead and take a little break, and I'll see you in a few minutes. And I'd love to hear one thing that each of you have gotten so far from our time. You know that this might seem like, if you're not used to doing this kind of foundation work, might seem like it's a stretch from here to your goals of getting clients, but I promise you I'll tie this in when we start talking about getting clients. So who would like to share one thing that's been interesting so far?
I will share one thing I think that's interesting, mainly for my group when we're talking about angry about the status quo. So it's kind of interesting to see at to some extent, it's kind of, it seems like it's the how do I say that again? I'm so sorry about, I can't find my word, the change that we need. The change, when we use that as our superpower to anger, seems like the common denominator sometime with nurses, I guess.
It can be our superpower for sure. Mm-hmm. It can fuel and bring up enough energy to organize change and to lead and to be visible and to open our mouth and say things that need to be said, and find allies, and all of those steps are important.
Yeah, what are we going to do about it?
Yeah. Okay, anybody else have a takeaway from or a new idea and inspiration so far?
I was Helen here. I was thinking about the commonality in our group was just wanting to have our own way of bringing our business forth, to provide whatever it is, our business. There's that autonomous piece, and in a model that more fits who we are and what I would say our gifts are, our education, how we can bring that forth. And so I kind of heard that in all of us, is that we want to have that autonomy to really present it in a way that that's us.
Yeah.
Is what I heard.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Thank you. Okay. So that's exact. Oh, go ahead.
I'll just make a quick observation about anger. In my experience, I think it's really key what people have said about, or Sharon, what you said about the generation of energy. And then in my experience, there's a distinction between what generates energy and what sustains it. So I know for me, the anger at some juncture has to be transformed into a more sustaining type of energy. So I think that's important to consider as well.
Thank you, Thomas. Yes, I agree 100%.
I do too. I use the word transmuted.
And what does that word mean for you, Joyce?
I have for me, like I love astrology. There's so many systems I like, and to take my strong energy and channel it through my Pisces, the loving, because I feel like anger, it's like I welcome it, but I want to be a life-giving force.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, great. Well, astrology can be really helpful to us to understand ourselves and others. And I'm going to introduce another system to you tonight also that will help you with this. And this system is specifically designed to look at our entrepreneurial energy, okay? and leverage that. So let me see if I can share are you seeing my screen? You are. Okay, good. So this quote is from Roger James Hamilton. He is, in my view, a very brilliant entrepreneur. He is born and lived most of his life in Singapore, but his parents were Irish. His dad, I think, is Irish. Well, I don't know actually which parent is Irish, but one is Irish and the other is Chinese. And he has a great passion for not only being an entrepreneur, but educating and empowering as many people as possible to be honest, doing good type of entrepreneurs. And so one of the core principles that he teaches in the Entrepreneurs Institute is that we're all born a genius. But just like if a fish judges itself by its ability to climb a tree, it will think that something's wrong with it. And so we often judge ourselves and others against prototypes or archetypes that we think are the right way to live, and then without honoring each other or ourselves for our own gifts. And I did that by the ton. And it really messed with my ability to be a successful entrepreneur for quite a while. And I'm there. I had trouble getting it to advance. It's not wanting to, might have wanted to go. Okay. So one of the things I learned, actually, I was still stumbling around with this lesson until I came across Roger's system to identify my entrepreneurial energy. But I was expecting myself to excel at social skills, connecting with people, being supportive of people, a lot of fire energy. If you look at so Roger has made a system, which I'll show you some in a minute, but he uses the 5 elements of Chinese medicine: earth, water, fire, metal, and wood. And I was, for some reason, I had been, the way I grew up, I thought the fire energy was the one to have, not knowing that where I was putting myself in a box that really wasn't me. And it was exhausting to be, of course, we all have all the elements in us, but we cannot be in flow if we're trying to be something that we're not. And if we want to change things, if we want to have a business, we're going to be much more likely to be successful by identifying the energies that we are naturally and innately and becoming more of that, leaning into that energy rather than being with a different energy. That is not our flow, our natural flow. And so as an entrepreneur, you have the ability to chart your course, and that's partly why you want to be an entrepreneur. And so I hope to help you, give you a tool that you can use to optimize, to lean into the energies that are naturally yours, and to delegate or hire other tasks that you're not as well suited for. So Roger's system is based, in the West, well, we have the 4 major personality theories, and I'm not a nurse, a psychiatric nurse, but I do remember having these basics in my basic education, and you'll recognize all of these people from the basics you had too. And then those are all Western models. Eastern personality theories are more energy based. And I'm talking just in this slide on a very, I just picked 2 Eastern theories, which is Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine. These are much, much older than the Western models. And honestly, any other long-standing cultures that I've studied have their theories about what makes up people and their behaviors and personalities is much more energy-based. Here's an example from Japanese concept, which is Ikigai. And this is starting to get around. Probably some of you have seen this before. And this concept relates directly to starting a business. If you take a moment, you can see that there's 4 main spheres here: what we love, what we're good at, what you can be paid for, and then over here on the right, what the world needs. And the place that all those overlap is sort of the ideal spot, sweet spot for your business. Now, this looks real simple on this slide, but the reality is this is a lifetime mission, a work in progress for us, because these are all fluid and dynamic spheres. But it does still give us a nice compass to consider when we look at what our choice is to focus on in our business. And it helps to remind us that a profession and a vocation are a little different from each other, as well as a passion and a mission are a little different from each other as well. But there is an overlap between all of those. And ideally, it might not happen for us right at the beginning of our business, but it's something like a North Star that we can steer toward. So Roger teaches that the cost of not knowing your genius is that your work will be harder. You won't have the kind of quality of life that you want. You'll feel more stressed and anxious, and you'll lose opportunities because you'll be aiming for something that's not really meant for you. Whereas when you're in your genius, you have more of an experience of flow and grace, and you'll also ignite the genius of others and appreciate the genius of others and be able to collaborate with them more easily. This will attract more opportunities as well. So Roger has shared with the world his self-assessment test that is easy to take. And I want to invite you to take it right now while we're on this call, and you'll receive a 40-page report. There's a little glimpse of the type of report that you'll get based on your energy. And then we won't go over the report here. You can do that on your own, but we will go over a little bit of the energies and how they play out in a business person to start your business. So on the left here, you see the 5 elements in Chinese medicine or feng shui. And on the right, you'll see how Roger's interpreted these for business owners. And I'll just say there's 4 directions here, like there would be on a compass or a medicine wheel: the north, the east, the south, and the west. And then the corners are, northeast, northwest, and that type of thing. But the 4 energies going around, those are wood, fire, earth, and steel. We know that Chinese medicine theory is based on 5 elements. So where's the 5th? And the 5th is spirit or water, which flows onto all of the 4 directions in Roger's framework. And the way you can conceptualize this is if this, I'm looking at this multicolored image here, it's 2-dimensional because it's flat, but in his concept, it's 3-dimensional. It's built like a pyramid or a mountain with the peak sticking up. And then the spirit would flow from the peak down and across all the sides. Okay. So when you get your I'm going to give you the link again in a moment, but I just wanted to show you, you're going to receive your personal energy grid or graph in the report. And these are some examples of different people's entrepreneurs' energies that I've assessed. Actually, this one in the upper left is my energy. So it's mostly in this, goes the northwest direction. And, but I have very little in the fire, the blaze on the east. And so that was really screwing me up when I thought that's what I should be embodying, because it's not my energy. And you can see how, if you look around all of these, every example has a strength area and then weaker areas. We all have all the energies, but we aren't strong in all the energies. Okay. So here is the URL. You can either use it with the QR code or type in the URL. And this, normally there's a cost for this test, but I have purchased those for you. So there's no cost to you. You just need to type in this code that's next to your name when you get to the test page, so that it will open up for you and you can answer the questions. And so I'm going to pause speaking so you can take the test. You'll just unmute yourself if you have questions, just speak right out. I'll be right here. And when you've completed the test, it will send you an email that tells you what your energy is. And if you would put that in the chat, then we'll know what everybody's energy is, and we'll know that you're ready to move forward. And resume sharing the screen. So here is in a nutshell, all the different energies in terms of business, in just a very brief few bullets for each one. And we'll start up here at the north side, the dynamo or creator person. They are strong in innovation and intuition. They have lots of creativity. And remember, anything I say about any of these energies, remember, we all have all the energies, but we also have strengths. And so for the creators, they're strong in ideas of making new products, new services, new programs. They might like to be in the arts. Another characteristic of the creators is that it's easier for them to start something new a lot of times than to carry something all the way through all the stages and come to completion with it. So they may have several things they've started before and not finished. Would you say, is anybody here that's a creator? Can you relate to some of those characteristics?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay, great. Now we'll just go around clockwise. The next one going clockwise, as far as people that are here, is trader. I think that's Taylor. And so traders, let me see if I can get this little bar out of my way. Here we go. So you can see where traders' strengths are in coaching and nurturing. So they're representing the earth energy, and they're in the exact opposite position of the creators. Creators go through change easily, and in fact, they enjoy change. They're change friendly. And traders with the earth energy are more slow to change. They want to be more sure of their steps before they change direction. And both of these are strengths, especially if those two energies can appreciate each other for what they bring to the table and lean into their natural energy, and then look to the other person. For instance, if the trader person looks to the creator for the ideas, And if the creator looks to the trader for the follow through and the structure and the grounding, then they can be very complementary. I think that I remember that Claudine is a mechanic, and that's up here in the north, right here. You see it in the northwest corner. And Claudine, that's my energy too, mechanic. And so mechanics are strong in systems. You tell me if this is true about you, Claudine. Do you notice systems around and get frustrated when systems are not working well?
Yeah.
Me too, that drives me crazy. And I'm always getting ideas about, so we have a lot of ideas because we also have this, whatever position you're strong in, you also have strengths in the energies on each side of you. So for instance, the mechanic here on the corner, we have a lot of ideas, we have a lot of creativity, and we also are strong in the data. We want to see the results. We want to see proof. Okay. And so we together, using creativity and proof, that gives us the ability to make systems that work. And let's see. I know our time's getting short, so I'm not going to go into it a lot more. You each have your own reports, and we can bring this back next week if you want to talk about it more, about your specific energies and how you can use this with your business idea. What questions do you have right now in this moment? Okay, well, I'm going to bring up one. Is there anybody here that loves to do marketing? Like already you're excited about doing marketing when you think about your business? Anybody? Helen, okay. Great.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I noticed for me is that I could happily spend hours designing the way something looks aesthetically. Um, and I'm not really doing anything that's really productive necessarily in terms of meeting the goal, if you see what I'm saying.
Yeah, great insight, Thomas. That is a common situation with creators. Yeah. And Helen, can you share anything more about your love of marketing?
Well, the thing I'm excited about, actually, I have a virtual assistant. I took a class, several classes on teaching online. And I'm excited about making videos. I already made one that was about a minute, a little bit of my history and talking about my course, my program. And it felt like, and then I'm going to make a few more, certainly from my course, but also to get online. But I don't know, I think there's parts of it that I was natural with, because Gabby, my VA, the first one I did, I thought, oh, it's not perfect, of course, but I thought, so I pointed out some things, and she goes, no, it's great for a first one. The lighting was good. You look good. You're expressive. And I thought, okay, good. Well, it just kind of gave me a boost. I thought this can be really fun to, put some things online and, bring people in a couple freebies. And I know in the past when I've applied for, there was a job I applied for, it's happened a couple of times. And anyway, on the phone, cold calling, I didn't get much, but I had an opportunity to meet the hiring person at a job fair that actually happened that afternoon. And when she met me, she was willing to interview me. So I think I present well when I'm talking about something that I believe in. And so I think I feel very optimistic about it, actually.
Good. That's wonderful. Is your main energy a creator?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to guess, I'm going to get a copy of, they automatically send me a copy of everybody's reports. So I'm mostly interested in your energy grid. My hunch is that you've got quite a bit of blaze energy also, as well as the creator. So it'll be interesting to me to see.
Yeah.
Is that true on your grid?
Yeah, I can't, well, I haven't seen the grid yet. I just
Okay.
went by what came up on the thing.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
If you look at the screen here, you'll see that the blaze, it's in the left side,
Mhm.
like where the sun comes up in the east. And I said left. I'm dyslexic a little bit. It's in the east, and like where the sun comes up. And so do you see the energy between the blaze and the creator? It's strong in speaking, and doing videos is one of those strengths. And
Mhm.
so if you've got the
Oh, yeah,
creator and you've got some of the blaze in you, the fire energy, that makes sense to me that you found that real natural to do.
yeah. And I'm hoping to do, in addition to teaching, speaking, and I've taken some courses on that too. So
Yeah. Okay. Very interesting.
yeah,
Thank you.
you.
Well, being a systems person, I find this all really interesting and useful. And when I coach nurse entrepreneurs, we always look at this and look at how to leverage your energy, how to position your business in a way that uses your best strengths and also helps you get support in the areas where you're weaker, or give those tasks to somebody else, either one. Okay. And so I'll wrap up. If I can get my slides to move forward. Here we go. We'll just skip these two. I wanted to share with you this little slide that I've made up entirely. I don't know. I know Charlene Platten in the lower left, but I don't know the others. It's just, I wanted to exemplify what these energies might look like in different nurse leaders that you might be aware of. So I chose Martha Rogers as an example of the visionary and creative, Jean Watson as an example of the blaze energy, and Ernest Grant as the tempo, the earth, and Charlene as the steel. And these materials are in your learning portal. It will also invite you to take a free version of the test, but you don't need to do that because you've already taken the more detailed version. So you can just go with the results that you've had. And there's also in your learning portal a whole module about your saboteurs and how to work with those to actually fuel your professional growth and personal growth rather than hold you back. So I am not going to go into this now because our time is up, and I'll stop sharing. I just actually want to mention your homework. If you are able and ready to do that, let me see if I can. I just need to share again. This is in your learning portal also, but I'll just wanted to mention it. You can see my screen again now, yes. So your next steps between now and next week are to review your report that you just received on your Wealth Dynamics energy profile. Give it at least 10 minutes. So you just maybe skim it and find one section that you'd really like to learn more about and look at that. And then there's a video to help you know how to protect your RN license in your business activities. So if you have questions or concerns about that, that's a bonus with this course, and it's there for you in the learning portal with a link to the video and the handouts. And this is the longest homework of the whole course. So don't feel like you have to do it all this week if you already have a full week. It's okay if you parcel it out in your own timing. When you do go through that bonus about protecting your license, these are the things that are most important for you to identify. And these points are in your learning portal too, right along with the link to the video. So you don't have to write them down here. They're available. And we'll talk about these next week. answer your questions if you have it. Bring your questions if you have any about protecting your license or legal aspects of your business idea. And also next week, we'll be looking at pricing your programs or services, projecting your cash flow, projecting your both income and expenses. So right now, there's a little bit of content in the portal for you around that topic, and there'll be more by this time tomorrow. And as you know, you have lifetime access to all the content. So just take it at your own pace. And who would like to share now your takeaways from tonight and any last questions you have?
I will share. I got so much from this. Mainly, I loved how you said, ourselves as like the hub of our wheel. I think that's super important. And I many times forget that. And then I loved the wealth dynamic in my entrepreneur journey. I totally like you, Sharon, I have been pushing myself towards a totally different thing, and it's my exact opposite. I really want myself to be creative because most of my family is super creative, and I've always been like beating myself up that I'm not super artistic and creative, and I'm the exact opposite, a trader, but that fits me to a T. And so I just need to leverage that and, just let that flourish. So that was super helpful for me.
Okay, good. Great, Taylor.
Well, it was very interesting for me though. I guess I had an idea. I've been thinking about starting my own practice almost for 2 years now. I started and then I stopped, and then life happens, and this time I started again earlier this year in May. Working as a psychiatric nurse practitioner. That's been I have the background of seeing patients independently and things like that. But it's a different things when doing it yourself.
Yeah.
And I think I watched one of the videos you sent, and you're talking about that right now. The saboteurs. That's how we say it, right?
Yeah.
And then like when we think about I can do my work. I mean, seeing like 6 or 7 to 8 patients a day for a private practice, right? For somebody else I'm working for. And then in the afternoon, I'm transitioning into seeing like 1 or 2 patients for my practice. I felt like totally incompetent. So it's interesting. And I'm thinking, I said, wow, what is this? So that one thing, the reason I wanted to say that is that I felt like, okay, maybe if I had like taking a class or something to help me understand the practice of having my own practice, that would have been useful to me. So when I saw the opportunity to start this course, I look at it, I said, okay, let me give it a try, because I've been trying not to do that, but I was looking for something that is, less, I don't have enough time, but I need something that I can do that's not too consuming, and that I can learn or get something from it. So I think that was really useful to me. And I kind of really like the fact that I took the class, and I learned a lot, and it's very, very good. And the fact in the small group also, Helen, I know the project, what you want to do. I feel like it's not just like for how do you say that again? I'm so sorry, for the group. I think that's something that can be useful for other nurses as well. It's not just for the one, we're dealing with oh dear, can't remember the word.
I was advised to choose that niche first, because that's my specialty. But like I said, I'd like to team teach with other nurses. I agree with you completely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that'll be the case. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very useful to me. I really enjoy it. I get a lot out of it.
Wonderful. Thank you for telling me.
I think what I'm taking away is the idea of seeing how, if I were to really align some of my objectives with my nature and energy, if that might actually expand some of my ideas, because I do find that over time, days and months, things will start to contract and I'll feel like, well, I'm supposed to do this, right? I'm a coach, so that means I have to be this certain way. But I'm going to run into some of the same roadblocks if I let that, um, be the guide. So yeah.
Interesting. Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you for the inquiry, the questions. Glad to be here. Glad to see nurses that are wanting to be entrepreneurs. I think actually we're all creators. We're all the creators of our lives. And so I think I suspected that's what mine would be, but I do think that's a shift that I'm hoping will happen. That I'm old, I've been around a long time where, we used to teach the drama triangle. Remember some of you, like the persecutor, the rescuer, and the victim. And when you turn that around, the creator's on top rather than a victim. And you've got a challenger and coach. And so I think moving out of victimhood and everything's being done to us and moving into more empowered states of being and having fun. So I just loved speaking with Taylor, and I feel hope.
Yay. Wonderful. Thank you, Joyce, for sharing that.
Yeah, my takeaway is just seeing the similarities. I've done some of the work we did tonight in another setting, but tonight was really just and at the same time doing it with the nurses is just so wonderful, because that's what I am. And that's what we all are. And like I said, supporting each other is, I think, just such an important piece, but it's just made me that much more excited about what I want to do.
Wonderful. Great. Well, thank you for being here, everyone. And thank you for going overtime just a little bit. I appreciate that. In the coming classes, I will not be talking as much as I did tonight. I wanted to get us started with this content. And now going forward, there will be content, but it'll be more in the learning platform so that you can look at it before class or not. But it's there as a foundation. And you'll have more opportunity to bring your questions, your business ideas, and your challenges here, and we'll workshop them for you. Okay. So thank you. If you have any other questions for me, you can stay, but otherwise, let's say good night. Okay.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you.
See you next week.
Bye.
Good
Best.
night.
Wait, let me.